Tom Cruise used to be Hollywood's golden boy. Perfect smile, perfect face, perfect life. But something started changing. By February 2025, fans noticed his face looked swollen and stretched during a Super Bowl commercial. Just minutes earlier, he looked normal in a movie trailer. A plastic surgeon said it looked like too many fillers had changed his jawline completely. Then, in July, a British host made a brutal comparison. He said Tom's face now looked like Play-Doh. Now the question is, what happened to the man millions fell in love with? Tom Cruise was born on July 3, 1962, in Syracuse, New York. But from the very beginning, his life was filled with fear and constant change. His father, an electrical engineer named Thomas Mapother III, had a terrible temper. He often exploded in anger for no reason. Tom once called him a merchant of chaos. It wasn't just yelling, he was abusive. And they never stayed in one place for long. By the time Tom was 14, he had already gone to 15 different schools. One month he was in Canada, the next in Kentucky or New Jersey. Every time he made a friend, he had to leave. That kind of life left him always on edge. He never felt safe. But it also taught him how to adapt fast, something that would help him later in Hollywood. In 1969, when he was just 7, his teachers noticed he couldn't read properly. They said he was smart, but something wasn't right. After some tests, they found out he had severe dyslexia. For Tom, letters didn't sit still on the page. They moved around and didn't make sense. Kids at school called him names. Some teachers got frustrated with him. But instead of giving up, Tom found another way. He started learning by listening. He'd have people read scripts to him over and over. That's how he memorized every word. Not just his lines, but everyone else's too. What started as a painful struggle ended up becoming one of his greatest strengths. In 1974, when Tom was 12, his mother, Mary Lee, finally made a brave choice. She left her abusive husband. She packed up the kids and walked away with almost nothing. Suddenly, she was a single mother raising 4 children with no money and no job skills. She worked non-stop, waitressing, cleaning houses, doing anything she could. Sometimes she worked 16 hours a day. They moved from place to place, always chasing cheaper rent. Watching his mother struggle, Tom knew he had to help. He mowed lawns, delivered newspapers, anything for a few dollars. Every cent went to his mom. That time taught him the value of hard work and how badly he wanted control over his own future. In 1976, when he was 14, something surprising happened. Tom told his family he wanted to become a priest. He enrolled in a Catholic seminary in Ohio and followed the strict schedule: early morning prayers, Latin classes, religious rituals. Teachers saw him as serious and devoted. But it didn't last. One night, Tom and some other boys broke into the wine cellar and drank the communion wine. They got caught, and Tom was expelled. He later said the experience made him realize he wasn't meant for that life. He wasn't meant to follow rules. He was meant to perform. In 1978, Tom's life started to settle. His mother married Jack South, a paint salesman who treated Tom kindly. They moved to Glen Ridge, New Jersey. For the first time, Tom had a stable home, a stable school, and someone who supported him. He joined the wrestling team, but a knee injury ended that dream. One day, his drama teacher asked him to try out for the school play. Tom got the lead role in Guys and Dolls. Suddenly, something clicked. On stage, he felt alive. He gave it everything he had, memorizing not only his lines, but everyone's. The audience loved him. After that, he acted in more plays and won the school's drama award. Those 18 months in New Jersey changed everything. Acting wasn't just a hobby. It became his new dream. In 1980, just before graduating high school, Tom made a decision that scared his whole family. He dropped out and moved to New York City to become an actor. He only had $500 and a bag of clothes. He stayed in a cheap hostel near Times Square and got a rat-infested apartment in Hell's Kitchen. Rent was $230, and he worked as a busboy to survive. He ate dollar pizza and instant noodles, losing 20 pounds in the first 3 months. He auditioned for a soap opera, but got rejected for being too intense. That comment hit him hard. He changed his name from Thomas Mapother IV to Tom Cruise, hoping it would sound stronger and more memorable. Then, in 1981, he got his first film role. It was just a few seconds in a movie called Endless Love. He set a fire in one scene, got paid $500, and that was it. But something about his energy stood out. People noticed him. The fire he lit in that scene wasn't just on screen. It was the beginning of something huge. In 1983, he auditioned for The Outsiders. He was trying out for the role of Soda Pop, but during the audition, he stopped and said, "This isn't working for me." Everyone was shocked, including Rob Lowe. But that moment showed how aware Tom was of his own limits. Instead of forcing it, he took a smaller role, and that small role helped him stand out even more. That same year, Risky Business came out. Made on a small budget of $6.2 million, it earned over $63 million. The famous underwear dance turned him into a star. Critics loved it, and Tom got his first Golden Globe nomination. That same year, he did All the Right Moves, filmed in freezing Pennsylvania. The harsh weather pushed him to his limits, but he didn't complain. He gave everything to the role, showing that he was willing to suffer for authenticity. That mindset would later make him famous for doing his own stunts. In 1985, he took a role in Legend, directed by Ridley Scott. The makeup process was intense. Though Tom didn't wear heavy prosthetics, he worked closely with a crew handling the largest makeup operation of its time. His co-star, Tim Curry, once ripped off his own prosthetics in frustration, injuring himself. This taught Tom how demanding big productions could be, and he was ready for it. Then came The Color of Money in 1986, where Tom worked alongside Paul Newman and under director Martin Scorsese. Tom played a young pool hustler and trained hard to make it look real. Newman won an Oscar, but Cruise proved he could hold his own next to legends. That same year, Top Gun exploded. Tom flew in real F-14 jets, reaching speeds of 800 mph. He experienced blackouts from the G-forces. He completed over 40 hours of flight time, and the Navy even changed its rules for him. The film made $356 million and turned Tom Cruise into a worldwide name. He became the highest-paid actor under 25, earning $2 million per film. In 1988, he starred in Cocktail, which made $171 million. Tom learned real bartending tricks, practiced for months, and broke 47 bottles in training. The same year, Rain Man came out. Tom improvised a key scene after finding out his real father had abandoned him at 12. Dustin Hoffman was amazed by his acting, and the film won 4 Oscars. Tom agreed to a deal that gave him a share of the profits. He ended up making $15 million. In 1989, Tom pushed himself further in Bourne on the 4th of July. He lived in a wheelchair for months, lost 35 pounds, and met with dozens of Vietnam veterans to understand their pain. He even cut his hand during filming and kept acting with real blood showing. He gave $3 million of his salary to veteran groups. That same year, he opened his own production company with Paula Wagner. He invested $2 million and began producing Days of Thunder. He rewrote scripts, chose actors, and pushed for practical effects, even spending millions to film real NASCAR crashes. In just 1 year, his company secured $50 million in deals with studios. But Born on the 4th of July also brought backlash. Many veterans protested the film, upset that Cruise had never served. Some even threw objects at the set. Cruise received death threats. The tension was high, but he stayed committed. The film made $161 million and shifted how people saw Vietnam veterans. Cruise later created a scholarship fund worth $500,000 for disabled veterans. Tom Cruise didn't just pretend to be a race car driver in Days of Thunder. He actually became one. During filming in 1990, he trained with real NASCAR drivers, got behind the wheel himself, and raced at over 180 miles per hour. In one scene, he had cue cards taped to the windshield so he could remember his lines, and he crashed the car because of it. He pushed himself to learn how to drive 700-horsepower stock cars on famous tracks like Daytona and Charlotte. That same year, he met Nicole Kidman on set. She played a doctor in the film. They fell in love while filming and got married on Christmas Eve in 1990, just months after they finished shooting. In A Few Good Men 2 years later, Cruise took on the role of a military lawyer. That courtroom scene where Jack Nicholson shouts, "You can't handle the truth," wasn't easy to capture. The director filmed it 95 times. Cruise had to keep repeating the same intense questions again and again, like, "Did you order the code red?" until it all felt real. The film was a huge success, earning over $236 million. That one scene became legendary. When Interview with the Vampire came out in 1994, people were shocked that Cruise was playing Lestat. The author of the book hated the idea at first, and even said he could never be her Lestat. But Cruise didn't hold back. He worked for months to move like a predator, and even bit into live rats during filming. They also used mechanical rats with hidden tubes to make it look real. The whole movie was shot mostly at night, and Cruise wore heavy makeup and costumes for long hours. In the end, the author changed her mind and said Cruise gave a powerful and brave performance. In 1996, Cruise changed action movies forever with Mission Impossible. He refused to fake the stunts. One of the wildest scenes had him hanging from the side of a train speeding through the Channel Tunnel at 70 miles an hour. He was actually there. No double, no tricks. He also dangled from wires for the famous vault scene, and did it all in a single take that lasted over 6 minutes. The movie cost $80 million, but most of that went into the real stunts, not digital effects. That same year, he showed a different side in Jerry Maguire. He won a Golden Globe for Best Actor in early 1997. The famous line, "Show me the money," wasn't even in the script like that. Cruise came up with the idea to shout it over and over, and it became a catchphrase across America. From late 1996 to mid-1998, Cruise spent 15 straight months filming Eyes Wide Shut with director Stanley Kubrick. That shoot became the longest in movie history. Kubrick had them film one simple scene 95 times. Cruise got so stressed, he developed an ulcer, but didn't tell anyone because he didn't want to slow things down. The movie pushed both Cruise and Nicole Kidman to the edge as they filmed heavy emotional scenes. Just 6 days after filming ended, Kubrick died. The movie became his final goodbye to the world. In 2000, Cruise took things even further in Mission Impossible 2. He did dangerous rock climbing on a cliff 2,000 feet high in Utah. During one part, he jumped 15 feet down onto a hard rock again and again until it looked just right. A helicopter came so close that the spinning blades nearly touched his head. The crew had to stop filming at times because of strong winds, but Cruise insisted on keeping the scene. In 2001, Cruise stepped into a strange world in Vanilla Sky. It was a remake of a Spanish movie, and he called up the director Cameron Crowe to tell him to watch it. He even got Penelope Cruz to play the same role she did in the original. Cruise wore facial prosthetics for the scenes after his character's car crash. The movie made over $200 million and slowly gained a cult following, even though not everyone liked it at first. For The Last Samurai in 2003, Cruise trained for nearly 2 years. He learned sword fighting, Japanese language, and martial arts. He worked closely with a sword master and did most of the horseback battle scenes himself. The story was inspired by a real French officer who fought with the samurai in the 1800s. The movie became the 6th biggest hit of 2003, earning $456 million. Cruise was even nominated for a Golden Globe. In 2004's Collateral, Cruise played a cold, calm killer named Vincent. He had silver hair and wore a gray suit, looking nothing like the usual Cruise. The whole movie takes place in one night as he forces a taxi driver to take him around Los Angeles. Cruise became someone terrifying and emotionless, and people were shocked at how different he looked and acted. Then came War of the Worlds in 2005. Cruise played a father trying to save his kids during an alien invasion. They bought an actual Boeing 747 and turned it into wreckage for one of the scenes. Filming took place in 5 states and lasted 73 days. Spielberg said it was his longest shoot in over a decade. Cruise even asked Spielberg to pause another movie so they could make this one first. In Tropic Thunder in 2008, Cruise completely surprised everyone. No one knew he was in it. He played a loud, bald, and heavyset movie executive and danced like a maniac. The character was Cruise's own idea. He asked for fat hands and wanted to dance. The studio didn't even put him in the trailers, and when people saw it was him, they couldn't believe it. It showed that Cruise wasn't afraid to look silly or take risks. In 2011, Cruise climbed the Burj Khalifa in Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. He hung over 2,000 feet above the ground. They had to drill holes in the building and break windows to set up safety gear. His harness was so tight, it made his legs go numb. Helicopters had only 30 minutes to film because of flight rules, and they used special IMAX cameras. He refused a stunt double, as always. In Jack Reacher, 2012, Cruise did all the car chase scenes through real Pittsburgh streets. He learned intense hand-to-hand combat and trained for months. The movie's release was delayed after the Sandy Hook shooting because it started with a sniper attack. But when it finally came out in December 2012, Cruise's gritty military investigator felt raw and real. Then came the most dangerous flight stunt in 2015 for Rogue Nation. Cruise held onto a real Airbus A400M as it took off. He was hit with 5G forces while 5,000 feet in the air. The crew only had 48 hours to get it right, and the plane had to take off 8 times. Cruise ran across the wing and held onto panels made for paratroopers. He wore almost no protective gear to keep it looking real. In 2017, Cruise filmed a zero-gravity plane crash for The Mummy. He flew in a special plane that climbed to 25,000 feet and then dropped to create weightlessness. Everything was filmed practically with no CGI. Cruise and the crew had to do multiple flights, and each time they had just minutes of zero gravity to get it right. It was one of the hardest scenes ever filmed in the air. In 2018, while filming Mission Impossible Fallout, Cruise broke his ankle jumping between rooftops in London. He finished the scene anyway. You can even see him limping. Filming paused for 6 months so he could heal, but he returned and did even more stunts. During the break, they filmed scenes where he could sit and rest his ankle. His dedication turned a real injury into part of the story. Finally, in 2022, Top Gun: Maverick became the biggest hit of Cruise's life. He flew real F-18 fighter jets after going through intense pilot training. He made all the young actors go through the same thing. They used custom IMAX cameras inside the cockpits. Cruise turned down all streaming offers during the pandemic because he wanted the movie in theaters. It was delayed 3 years, but made nearly $1.5 billion and became the second highest-grossing movie of 2022. It proved that even after all these years, Tom Cruise was still willing to do the hard stuff for real. Tom Cruise was only 24 when he married Mimi Rogers in 1987. She was already an actress and a Scientologist. Through her, Tom was introduced to the religion that would shape almost everything in his future. At first, their relationship seemed strong, but behind closed doors, things weren't working. There were rumors Tom couldn't have children. In 1993, Mimi joked about it in a Playboy interview, hinting that he was thinking of becoming a monk. That comment left people guessing. Their marriage ended in 1990. Mimi later said it was because Tom was obsessed with work. He had a two-word focus in life: career first. He didn't know how to slow down, and that obsession broke them apart. She also mentioned that his deepening involvement in Scientology created a wall between them. Right after that, Tom met Nicole Kidman while filming Days of Thunder. They got married in 1990. Everyone thought they were the perfect couple, but they were hiding pain that the world didn't see. Nicole had her first miscarriage at age 23. The pregnancy was ectopic, meaning the baby was growing in the wrong place inside her. She said later that the grief from that loss was something no one talks about enough. After that, they adopted 2 children, Isabella and Connor. But in March 2001, right after Tom filed for divorce, Nicole had a second miscarriage. She was 3 months pregnant. It was a private heartbreak happening at the same time as a public breakup. The loss, the divorce, and the silence around it all made it even heavier. After the split, Tom started dating Penelope Cruz. She was his co-star in Vanilla Sky and stayed with him for 3 years. She even started studying Scientology to be closer to him. But it didn't work. Penelope followed Buddhism and didn't want to leave it behind. Scientology leaders, especially David Miscavige, didn't approve of her. One former member said that it's not just about loving Tom, you have to obey the church too. After they broke up in 2004, rumors spread that Scientology had started auditions to find Tom a new wife. The church denied it, but the idea stayed in people's minds. Then came Katie Holmes. In 2005, Tom jumped on Oprah's couch, shouting that he loved her. It felt wild, but romantic. They married in an Italian castle in 2006, the same year their daughter Suri was born. Katie used to say marrying Tom was her dream come true. She called him the man of her dreams. But by 2012, the dream turned into fear. Katie filed for divorce, asking for full custody of Suri. Tom was completely shocked. He didn't see it coming. They settled things quickly, quietly. Katie's goal was to keep Suri away from Scientology. That became the line neither side could cross. They agreed to respect each other's beliefs, but the damage had already been done. Since then, Tom hasn't been seen with Suri. The last public moment was at Disneyland in 2012. She was just 6. Over a decade passed. In 2024, she graduated from high school, but Tom didn't show up. That same day, he was seen enjoying a Taylor Swift concert in London. People couldn't believe it. Former Scientologists said this was because of the church's disconnection rule. If someone leaves the religion, you cut ties with them. Katie had protected Suri from the church, and Tom chose his beliefs over being a father. Now Suri is 18 and can decide for herself. But after all these years, their bond seems broken. Back in 2005, Tom also caused a media storm when he criticized Brooke Shields for using antidepressants after giving birth. He said there was no such thing as a chemical imbalance and blamed her for using medication. He said people should just take vitamins and exercise. Brooke hit back with a powerful piece in the New York Times. She said he should stick to saving the world from aliens and leave mental health to the professionals. She made it clear that he had no idea what postpartum depression felt like. Later, Tom apologized, but Brooke said it wasn't a great apology. It was just the best he could do. Tom's deep connection to Scientology began in 1986, when Mimi Rogers introduced him to it. At first, he kept it a secret. But in 1990, after the press leaked it, he admitted everything in an interview with Barbara Walters in 1992. He said the church helped him overcome dyslexia. Over time, he became one of Scientology's biggest stars. He grew close to David Miscavige, who had been a part of his life since the late 1980s. But when he was told the church would reveal secrets about an alien ruler named Xenu, Tom backed away briefly. He was filming Eyes Wide Shut in 1999, when Marty Rathbun was sent to pull him back into the fold. Then, in 2008, a video leaked online where Tom was talking about Scientology in ways that shocked even his fans. He said Scientologists were the only ones who could help at a car accident, that they were the only real experts on the mind. The church tried to take the video down, but it spread quickly, and millions saw it. The way he talked sounded intense and strange. Many people said it didn't feel like the real Tom anymore. In 2015, the HBO documentary Going Clear made things even more intense. Former high-ranking Scientologists spoke out. They said the church helped find women for Tom to date. One said Nicole Kidman had been wiretapped after being labeled a troublemaker. Another described the church's actions as white slavery when it came to finding Tom a partner. They also said Kidman kept Tom away from Scientology for years, which made the church spy on him through one of his own employees. These stories painted a very dark picture. In 2001, things got even more personal when a male adult film star claimed he had an affair with Tom, and that this caused Tom's divorce from Nicole. Tom sued him for $100 million. The man admitted he had lied, and Tom won a $10 million judgment. It wasn't the first time Tom had to fight false rumors about his sexuality. He had sued a publisher for another similar story before, and won that case too. Around the same time, a former church executive revealed something disturbing. From July to November 2001, Tom's private confessions in auditing sessions were secretly recorded on video. The church claimed it was to check session quality, but every word was sent directly to David Miscavige. They even waited until Tom's divorce from Nicole was finalized before getting too involved again. What should have been private therapy was secretly monitored. That betrayal added to the growing concerns about how the church treated even its most famous members. In late 2023, another former Scientology executive named Mitch Brisker made headlines. He said Tom Cruise was the church's #1 victim. He claimed Miscavige controlled everything, even the soap used on their cruise ship. Brisker said Tom wasn't free. He was completely under control. Leah Remini, who left in 2013, said there were harsh punishments for anyone who criticized Tom inside the church. Others backed her up. Still, the church denied everything and said these people were all lying. In February 2025, something else started troubling fans. Tom appeared in a Super Bowl commercial, and people noticed his face looked swollen and stretched. Just 10 minutes earlier, a trailer for Mission Impossible showed him looking normal. A plastic surgeon explained that it looked like too many fillers had changed the shape of his face. His jawline, once sharp, was now soft. The doctor said this kind of swelling and stretched skin usually comes from too much injected filler. By May 2025, Tom explained how hard he was pushing his body for Mission Impossible stunts. He told People magazine that he ate almost a dozen eggs every morning along with bacon, sausage, toast, and coffee, just to fuel his body. He said flying on top of a biplane at 120 miles per hour burns a lot of calories. It was 3 times faster than early wing-walking planes. He needed protein and energy just to stay alive up there. In July 2025, British host Jonathan Ross said something brutal. On his podcast, he compared Tom's face to Play-Doh. He said Tom was once a naturally handsome man, but now looked fake. He wasn't calling him ugly, but said he just didn't look like himself anymore. Fans agreed, and the internet lit up with reactions. Later that August, Tom finally opened up. During an interview, he said the wild plane stunts almost broke his back. In one scene, he had to hang from a seatbelt as the plane flipped upside down. The pressure separated the joints in his fingers. His hands were swollen. The pain was real. His director confirmed that Tom had suffered a lot. They even had to reshoot parts in Africa because of weather. The injuries and swelling may explain some of the changes in his appearance, but for many fans, it was too late. His face no longer looked like the Tom they remembered.